Well, we've been covering today's highly charged accusations of racism and bigotry in this White House race, and it comes as one of the country's leading Hispanic journalists has issued a controversial call. You may remember Jorge Ramos getting national attention after he was forcibly removed from a Trump event exactly 1 year ago today. Now he's getting national attention for calling on his fellow journalists to drop their impartiality when it comes to candidate Trump, writing, quote, "It doesn't matter who you are, a journalist, a politician, or a voter. We will all be judged by how we responded to Donald Trump." Jorge Ramos is a news anchor with Univision and author of Take a Stand. Jorge, great to see you again. So what do you mean by that? Because you come out specifically and say neutrality is not an option, even for journalists. Explain.
I think so. I think neutrality is not an option when you, as a journalist, are confronted with racism, discrimination, corruption, public lies, dictatorships, or violations of human rights. I think Eduardo Moro and Walter Cronkite, they got it right. There are certain instances in which you have to take a stand. And for instance, you did it in that first questions, in that first debate, when Donald Trump was confronted with the fact that he had insulted women, and you took a stand. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Well, but let me ask you about that, because I didn't. Well, let me ask you about that, Jorge.
What I'm saying is that neutrality is not an option.
That was not. But that was not me taking a stand. That was me asking a question. I identified an issue and thought it worthy of a question. It wasn't. Here's what Megyn Kelly thinks of you, Donald Trump. Is that what you're advocating? That we as journalists should inject our opinions and say that's racist or that's sexist?
No, what I'm saying is that in certain instances that I just mentioned, including racism, sexism, and discrimination, I think we have to take a stand.
I understand. If you're interviewing somebody and they drop the N-word on you, you stop and you say, inappropriate. You don't talk like that in this broadcast. But you know, Trump and his supporters would say it's in the eye of the beholder. And they think that it's not racist to try to protect our borders and you know, build a wall and deport people who came into the country illegally. You disagree with that. So it is injecting a journalist's opinion when it's not staring you in the face, black and white.
It is not exactly an opinion. I don't know if Donald Trump is a racist. I don't know what's in his head, but I do know what's coming out of his mouth. And when he says that Mexican immigrants are criminals, rapists, and drug traffickers, that's a racist remark. When he says that a judge, simply because of his ethnic heritage, cannot be part of a case simply because of that, simply because he's Latino, that's a racist remark. And I think we as journalists, we have to call it out.
Okay, so,
now,
but here's a question, here's a follow-up question.
Maybe Donald Trump does not consider himself a racist, but 73% of Latinos think that he is.
Okay, but 70% of the American public think that Hillary Clinton is a liar. So by that same token, what are we supposed to do? Every time we're supposed to do a story about Hillary saying something, should we be saying, by the way, she's a liar? She's a liar. Liar Hillary Clinton. I mean, you see, you sort of go down the rabbit hole once you start injecting these judgments on the candidates as a journalist.
More than judgments, I think it is our social responsibility as journalists to confront those who are in power.
But your detractors have said you have a daughter, Paola, who's working for the Hillary Clinton campaign, and you know, did you disclose that in your opinion piece, pushing for journalists to, quote, take a stand? And is this personal for you in that way?
I think it's a fair question, and I've disclosed that Paola works for the Hillary campaign many times. Every time I've talked to Hillary Clinton, before I do that, I've disclosed that. It's on Univision webpage. So in other words, that's her decision, and I have absolutely nothing to do with that.
Jorge, great to see you.
Thank you, Megyn.
Joining me now with reaction, host of Fox News Media Buzz,